what controls ice ages through time? There have been many ice ages across Earth history. There were even periods of time, hundreds of millions of years ago, where the whole Earth was covered with glaciers and it was very cold. There were lots of ice and snow. There are other times in Earth history where it was super, super hot, where there were lots of deserts and tropical climates around the globe. And there's many things that affect climate through geologic time. And so this is different from when we refer to climate change. You might hear people talking about climate change in the news or with your friends and family. So this is something different that I'm talking about. So humans have a major impact on climate today and over the last few hundred years. But what I'm referring to are more changes in climate thousands of years ago before humans really had an impact on it. And so these changes in climate have to do with changes in the Earth's orbit around the sun. These are called Milankovitch cycles. I give some basics on what you might need to know to try and figure out how these last ice ages occurred. And so the first thing that I want to talk about with these Milankovitch cycles, so these describe different changes in Earth's orbit through time. They're named after the person who described these patterns, whose name was Milankovitch. And so they describe the Earth orbiting around the sun. I don't have a globe at home, but I used to play softball, so I have a softball and I have a baseball. And so this will be the sun in my quick little demonstration, and the baseball will be Earth. So the Earth orbits around the sun in a relatively circular shape, and that takes a full year to go all the way around the sun. So it's 365 days is the length of time that the Earth needs to orbit or completely circle the sun. So as the Earth is orbiting the sun, the Earth spins on an axis. So an axis is basically a point running through the middle of the Earth, also known as what we would consider the North Pole and the South Pole. So the very tippy top of the Earth and the very bottom are where the axis runs through if you were to draw a line from the North Pole to the South Pole. Now the Earth, or our globe, isn't straight up and down. There's actually an angle that it's tilted at. And that angle affects the seasons that we experience from January through the next year. And so typically in the Northern Hemisphere, so from the equator up to the top of the North Pole is the Northern Hemisphere, we experience the hottest times of year in our summer during the months of June, July, and August. Now, the Southern Hemisphere from the equator down experiences winter when we have summer. So in the Northern Hemisphere, our winter is during December, January, February, whereas those months are the summertime for the Southern Hemisphere, which is why we have opposite seasons. And it's because the Earth is tilted that we have those seasons to begin with. If the Earth was straight up and down on its axis, that would mean that the Earth was at the same angle as the sun as it went around the whole Earth year-round, and the climate would be pretty much the same year-round. So that's the reason why we have seasons. And